5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holy tune that thing.
Why tune?
Tune for what?
Tune down for what?
Tune up for what? Deep, that's what, kids. God dang, we were in a time-space vacuum there for a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you something, we are no longer in that continuum. And it's time to continue.
Yes.
Okay.
With space fucking alien pilot number 1, Ronnie D. Number 40655B7. Simulation unit, Lamangelo. X4T, I believe, is the call letters for if you want to look up parts or maintenance programs on him. This is deep inside the music in a secret, undisclosed, secret location. Far above the atmosphere.
Willie Bell's in the back over there.
Willie Bell.
Willie Bell. That's right.
We don't even know what happened in California. What actually happened when we got there was not following the protocol of Deep Inside the Music.
Man, we got freaked out.
Yeah, so we got to Studio Delux Immersive, and we were so bowled over and freaked out to meet Matt Wallace.
Right.
And to meet Will Kennedy that we totally forgot.
A lot of things.
Yeah, like what
we
were
even
doing.
do.
Right, we were just like, oh, this is cool.
No, but it was amazing though.
This is a different type of episode. We go deeper inside the music via the perspective of Matt Wallace. Now, this is an episode where we can really see his joy. He is so happy to explain this stuff to us, and the stories that he tells about making this iconic record, Epic by Faith No More. You've never heard these stories. No one's ever heard these stories except for Matt's close circle of friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's so passionate, and as are all masters of anything.
It does.
Even though it's been umpteen decades or what have you, he was right there, man. He remembered every little detail of that process. I felt like we relived it. I felt like I was there.
Yes, he was reliving. That's a great way to put it. He was reliving the glory and the joy. His smile is so sincere, and what an honor.
What a talent.
Here it goes. Check us out. Getting freaked out and not even being able to keep our shit together in Los Angeles, California.
So I have a guitar story that I forgot to tell you guys. Okay, so this is really something. So in 1987,
My favorite. Go ahead. Yes.
right before it was this is probably somewhere in November or December of 1987. Jim Martin, the guitar player, wasn't particularly sure that I could capture the guitar, so he wanted to come down to Los Angeles and to see some real pros doing the recording and get their ideas. And this is really something that still blows my mind. We drove all the way down to Sound City.
Oh, nice.
In this parking lot. We came down to Sound City. Rick Rubin was producing. Dave Bianco's engineering a band called Wolf's Bane, like a heavy metal band. And we went in there and we were watching how they do this stuff. And I was looking how they do this, how they mic things up. Because Jim wanted me to have all that information before there.
Right.
So we came to this parking lot
Wow.
before I did the record. And now, of course, I've got a studio here.
I mean,
That's
isn't it
awesome.
wild how you go places in your life you don't think you'll ever be there again, and you're going to be living there? It's like
It's never occurred to me. I've been here for 18 years, but I had no idea. Wow. And we were there, and and Jim and I drove all the way down together.
That's crazy.
We drove all the way out there.
This is how they're doing it. Yeah.
So I was watching him, but it was really. But Dave Bianco was super cool because he knew I recorded records, so he was showing me while Jim was around. But once Jim he goes, you already know how to do this stuff. Just
And if you had to drive down there to hear that, then fine.
yeah, he's like you got it. But it was just the thing that it gave Jim confidence.
Yeah.
And then of course we did really go after the guitar sound. We I would
And
I
you
did-
got it.
dude. I used to have headphones on with the mic open. I would just move it because you can hear
Yeah.
and that's right with the center of the cone. It's like, okay, that we're gonna keep that sound. then we get the ones on the edge of the cone because we want like a more warmer, rounder sound. And the one in the middle is really pointy.
Yeah.
And then I put one on the back and I flip the phase and get the low and boom, boom.
Yeah.
And again, no EQ in those guitars.
I mic the back of my amps, but I got to flip the phase on the back.
If you put a microphone back there
Yeah.
and record it, you flip the phase because it's going to capture it, the other way.
Same way.
And but the cool is you get this. And so when we were recording the guitars with Jim, I didn't do any EQ. He's like, hey, I want to hear a little more high end. Okay, how about this? Oh, I want to hear more. Can I get a little more of the low stuff? Yeah, how about that? So everything I did was just blending microphones without EQing it. And then, look, not using EQ doesn't make anybody smarter or better. That's just the approach.
It just when everything, when it's working,
it worked. And we could have, but it was really cool because we spent all this time getting the mics all set up. And Jim's like, I don't want anyone to come in here and touch it. I go, Jim knows. He goes, hang on a second. Somehow he got a hold of, that yellow police tape, do not cross. And we strung the room. Like, do not cross. Because we didn't want anybody, because we had meticulous.
Right. Don't
a whole
touch
day,
it. Don't bump into
and that's what we did.
Yeah.
But that's
That's awesome. That is fantastic.
Don't fuck with my shit.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
yeah, because we had one amp and one guitar, so we had to get every sound we needed out of that. We had to get out of microphone placement.
Wow.
Right after this record, they were touring Guns N' Roses and Metallica, and somehow Jim Martin wanted to come by my apartment. I was living like by Wilshire, and he brought James Hetfield by my apartment, right?
Nice.
So, and I was working at Slash Records, and so they came by. They're hanging out, they're drinking and talking. And like around midnight, I go, listen, man, I got to hit the hay because I got to get up tomorrow and go to work.
Yeah.
So I'm asleep, and I wake up at 4:00 in the morning, and there's Sabbath on my stereo, and my volume knob is pinned, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I walk in the room and they're like smoking and drinking. And
Listen to Sabbath.
And I turn, and I go, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm in an apartment building. There are people next to me trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep. Right. Oh, man. I go,
man.
I'm like, listen, man, you guys get the hell out of here. Yeah. And they go, where are we supposed to go? I don't know, and I don't care. But get out. And I kicked Hetfield and Jim Martin out of my apartment. Closed the door like, Jesus. And I got a couple more hours sleep and went to work the next day. But it's just like,
that is deep.
Yeah,
that's all the way deep.
That is,
deep.
Just
super deep.
But they're cool. So I want to say one thing. You said there's a lot of tracks, but it might look like a lot of tracks on Pro Tools because we've taken, because in the olden days, we did this all on 24-track tape.
Yeah.
So that means sometimes you have guitar going,
that's great,
and then all of a sudden there's vocals on that same track,
yes,
and then there's keyboards. So
no wasted space.
No wasted space because we needed more tracks.
Yeah.
And to get really technical, it's actually 23 tracks because we needed one track for Simpty.
Simpty.
So that's
a great sound.
Yeah. And I think limitations are really important.
And now with your track piggybacking,
yes,
I don't know for you folks scoring at home about the recording game. If you have, say, guitars and or keyboards and or vocals all on the same track, you got to get ready with your mix moves. So would you do moves or would you kind of record them to be at the level and print the effect?
I did mix moves because I wasn't smart enough to do what you just recommended. And so what I did is during mixing, I would take, if I'd say channel 1, I'd go channel 1 is primarily guitar, but then I would do a mult to a second track. So I'd mute that. And then from that same track, channel 2 would be the keyboard. From that same track, channel 3 would be the background vocals. And I would just mute them. And you label it guitar, keyboard, vocal, you just open up, and that's what I would do.
And it's on the right level.
So then you can match the level.
Nice. Okay. Because we at that time would have our little grease pencil and make the marks, and you got to make the moves.
Yes.
And then for a while, a couple of dudes, we had to put a little tape on their track because they were always trying to make themselves louder. Dude,
you had to put a governor on.
Yeah,
you needed a governor, absolutely. Yeah,
you could tell it was mixed by the guitar player.
The previous Faith No More album called "Introduce Yourself," I hand mixed.
Nice.
So there was a lot of.
But I had that thing where like marks. I had like a pencil in my mouth, so I'd be like, do this stuff, and then sometimes I'd mix, and then I'd stop and I'd cut the two track, and then I would set my levels, and then roll back and hit play, and then I'd cut it in, and I'd
cut it.
Yeah, so I'd say like verse 1 up to the chorus. I have it, and then I go, I got all these fucking moves. So I'd stop the tape machine, and then I go, okay, now I get all my things set, and I'd roll back like a bar or two before the chorus, get the 2-track going, then hit play, and then start playing the 2-track, the stereo chorus, and then capture it. Then I would cut it together. You know what I mean? Because I'd make a pause. Verse 1, stop the 2-track, pause, reset it my 24-track. Okay. Push play, start recording, and then after I'd cut it, so I put it together.
So you're physically editing tape by cutting it?
Yes, that's just the stereo 2-track, but I also edited the 24-track.
Cut
the master, razor blade edit. You got to have big cojones to do that.
Yeah, right.
Because that's everything.
It's like the operation game. Only
Yes.
A lot more important.
Only it's someone's career.
Right, not just composing.
It's totally so shitty.
It's operation, but it's your career. Wow, that first cut must be like, here goes nothing.
Did you ever go, oh, fuck, sorry, guys?
Yes. So what you do when you're cutting tape like that, I would make a mark like, V1. It'd be like TK1, take 1, V1, verse 1. Right. And then and the problem is those reels, they're like 10, 15 pounds. You move, set it down, you make a note and mark it. Because sometimes you do this thing, you like it, and the band's like, I'm not sure I like that. It's like, oh, fuck. So you got to go find your tape, like, okay, V1, take 1. Oh, you want take 2? Okay, take 2. Here we go. And then you cut it back in.
Cut it back in.
And the subsequent record to this one, Angel Dust, I spent a week editing 2-inch tape. One whole week of cutting.
That's a
moving
long
the
day.
tape. Then you put your tape on there and you play it. And you go, okay, and then you cut. Oh my God, this is destructive editing, and it's a pain in the ass to do it. Whereas on digital, and they go, I don't like it. You go Command Z back one. How about this version? Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And you never lose anything. But analog tape was you bet everything.
You got to make your
it.
decisions. You got to practice. And you have to be vigilant in your intent to fucking do it as good as possible. Not just whatever.
And you can't
fix it later, man.
And the fewer tracks you have, the more you have to start mixing as you're doing it. So like I would print the sounds the kind of the way I wanted them, because it's not like you had this opportunity to go back and fix things later on. Like nowadays with digital, you can have a DI guitar and you can make it. Do I want a Vox? Do I want it a Marshall? Do I want it a Tweed? And there you committed. You committed to your sounds.
Yeah.
Make the choices.
Right. Mix while you're working.
Yeah.
Do